Good afternoon. Mike Jensen here, certified personal trainer with Eastside Chiropractic in Tumwater, Washington. Today we'll be covering exercises for the core. Be sure to ask us next time you're in to see if you're ready to begin. So the first exercise we'll be covering today is the lunges. One thing to keep in mind, now that we're getting into more resistance exercises as opposed to the stretching, is that these exercises will be done based on sets and reps, opposed to the stretches you holding for a certain amount of time. So with the lunges and the crunches we'll be covering today, you want to start with 2 sets and between 6 to 15 reps on this stuff, depending on where you're comfortable. You want to try to start on that lower end so you can increase over time instead of starting too much and having to back off. So with the lunge, you can break it down to 3 parts. One thing you want to focus on is keeping a nice upright position throughout the movement. So you're going to start with your hands on your hips and your feet together. Part 1 is you're taking an elongated step, so you're really reaching out. Again, maintaining that nice upright position. Part 2 is you're dropping your back knee down towards the ground, maintaining that upright position. This is a step that the resistance will vary the most. So don't think you have to drop all the way down to the ground at the start. Just go to where you're comfortable. If you're only comfortable going halfway down, that's fine. Part 3, you're driving off that front leg back to your starting position. So that would be 1 rep each leg. So you want to think if you're doing 6 reps, that needs to be 6 reps for each leg. The best way to go about that would be doing it in an alternating fashion. So you'll do 1 rep on the right side, and then 1 rep on the left side. And that would be 1 rep total. So the next exercise we'll be covering for the core are crunches. So these fall into that same set and rep scheme as the lunges we previously covered. So 2 sets of 6 to 15 reps. So the crunches will be done on the floor. There's a couple things you want to pay attention to. You want to avoid having your hands behind your head. So that's why we'll be doing them with the arms crossed in front. The other thing you want to pay attention to is really keeping the core tight and activated. That'll help work those deep core stabilization muscles. So that's a big focus for us. Okay? So you have the legs bent and the feet flat on the floor. Again, you'll start with your head and shoulders back flat against the ground. And as I mentioned before, arms crossed over the chest. One other thing to pay attention to is with your eyes, you want to pick a focus point on the ceiling. And what that'll do is keep your head and neck in a nice neutral position. So you got the arms crossed, and then you're just curling up till the shoulder blades come off the ground. Slight pause at the top, and then you relax back down. So again, you're up, slight pause, and then relax back down. Again, making sure you're keeping the stomach and the core sucked in really tight and activating those deep core muscles. So one more time, arms crossed, curl up, slight pause, and then relax back down. So the last exercise we'll be covering for the core is the plank. And again, this will be done on the ground. So there's 2 different ways to do a plank, a level 1 and a level 2. A level 1 plank is with the knees on the ground, and level 2 with the knees off the ground. With the plank, instead of doing sets and reps, we're going to do sets and holding for time. What your goal should be for the plank is to hold for 30 seconds per set. And that's where the level 1 and level 2 comes in. If you're unable to do 30 seconds with your knees off the ground, then you'll go to level 1 and start with your knees on the ground. So the difference in those 2 will look like this. So you're going to start laying flat on your stomach with the upper body on the forearms. So with the level 1, again, you're leaving the knees on the ground. So with that, you're just lifting your hips up slightly off the ground. Again, really focus on keeping those core and stomach muscles tight. And this will be the position you're trying to hold for 30 seconds. With the level 2 plank, everything's the same, but you're getting the knees and hips off the ground now. And that'll look like this. Again, you're trying to keep the body as flat as possible and really trying to stabilize those core muscles. And that's the difference between a level 1 and level 2 plank.